Namaste, beautiful souls. Welcome to the sacred journey of Kal Mantra, Embrace Divine Grace. Let the celestial vibrations uplift your spirit and guide you toward inner peace, abundance, and divine blessings. Open your heart, chant with devotion, and awaken the infinite grace within you.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're really getting into something fascinating. We're looking at the world of modern Indian spirituality.
Specifically, two very, very big names.
Exactly. Sadhguru Jagi Vasudev and Sri Ravi Shankar. I mean, they're both global figures, right? Inspiring millions with yoga, meditation, service. Their impact is just huge.
Absolutely undeniable. You see their centers, their followers everywhere.
But, and there often seems to be a but with figures this big, there are these whispers. You hear them, this kind of persistent talk about maybe a silent conflict or even rivalry between them.
Right. It's something people ask about, followers, observers. Is there actual friction there, or is it just noise? Perception.
Right. So that's our mission today. We're diving into the sources, especially a recent online exploration that looked into statements that seem to criticize or question each other's path.
Yeah, trying to understand what's behind this idea of a spiritual rift.
And maybe what it tells us about ourselves, as people on a spiritual path or just watching from the outside. It's easy to just jump to, it's ego versus ego.
That's the simple explanation, yeah.
But maybe it's more complex, like real philosophical differences getting blown up by, other things.
Could be. So where do we start? What are these specific comments or jabs the sources point to?
Okay, so let's unpack that. The source material we looked at suggests that over the last few years, certain clips, mostly of Sri Ravi Shankar, have popped up.
Right.
And they contain these, some call them whale jabs, indirect criticisms.
Subtle, but maybe not that subtle if you're paying attention.
Exactly. And they're often seen as being aimed right at Sadhguru.
Okay, like what specifically?
Well, one big example the analysis raises is the Adiyogi Shiva statue. Remember that? 2017, Sadhguru unveils this enormous 112-foot statue.
Oh yeah, huge event. Seen as a major spiritual and cultural statement, honoring the first yogi.
Right. But then the source highlights this remark from Sri Ravi Shankar. We don't need to build big statues to prove our spirituality.
And that got linked directly to Adiyogi.
Widely, yeah. Many saw it as a direct critique. Was it fair criticism? Or just a different view on, using symbols in yoga? Or maybe a misunderstanding of what Sadhguru intended?
It definitely raises questions about how different paths view the physical expression of the spiritual. Very different approaches there.
Definitely. And then it gets even more personal, doesn't it? The sources talk about comments related to Sadhguru's wife, Fiji, and her passing.
Yes, that's a really sensitive area the analysis covers. It's delicate.
Extremely. Sadhguru has spoken openly about Viji attaining Mahasamadhi. He describes it as a conscious leaving of the body, a yogic process.
A very specific, profound claim within certain traditions. It implies a high level of spiritual attainment.
But then Sri Ravi Shankar apparently said in interviews something like, if someone's wife dies in meditation, that's not samadhi, it's suspicious.
Oof. And while Sadhguru wasn't named, the implication felt clear to many. The source says the hurt caused among followers was real. It felt like a direct questioning of Sadhguru's account.
Yeah, that really pushes the boundary, doesn't it, between debating spiritual concepts and, something that feels like a personal jab, especially about such a profound loss.
It does. And then there's the whole Dhanalinga versus formless awareness thing. Sadhguru's work with the Dhanalinga. The source describes it as this powerful, consecrated energy form.
Right, something he apparently spent years consecrating through intense yogic practice. And many followers report really transformative experiences with it. It's central to his work.
A physical, energized form as a tool. But Sri's perspective seems different.
Very much so, according to the analysis. His approach tends to emphasize formless awareness more. God within, that kind of Vedantic idea.
So the quote highlighted is, why build temples when God is within you?
Exactly. Yeah. A beautiful teaching in itself, of course. But in this context, it's been interpreted by many as dismissing Sadhguru's work with consecrated spaces and these energy forms, like saying that whole approach is unnecessary.
That's how it seems to have landed for some. So you see these two sort of distinct approaches to transformation, different tools, different emphasis.
Okay, so we have these specific points, the statue, the Mahasamadhi comment, the Dhanalinga. If these things, intended or not, have created tension and this sort of follower tribalism.
Yeah, that's the big question. What's really going on underneath it all? Is it just personal rivalry?
Or is this something else?
Well, like you said earlier, jumping the ego versus ego is easy. But the deep dive suggests we should probably look a bit deeper.
Beyond the personalities.
Yeah. Shift from just seeing attacks to understanding the different philosophical soil each teacher grew from. Sadhguru, for instance, his roots are more in tantric and yogic traditions,
Which emphasize.
ritual energy work, specific methodologies like his inner engineering. It's very much about technique and process to transform energy. Experiential.
Okay. And Sri
His background is more in the Vedantic and Bhakti traditions, so more emphasis maybe on love, surrender, devotion, and of course, breath work, like the Sudarshan Kriya.
more heart-centered, perhaps. Grace and surrender focused.
You could say that. So the question becomes, are these comments really attacks, or are they just expressions of these fundamental philosophical differences? Two different ways of seeing the path.
Amplified maybe by how we consume information now.
Exactly. Amplified and often distorted by social media. That's a huge piece of this puzzle, according to the source material.
Right, because it's not just the original comment, it's how it gets spun and used online. Does the source talk about that? The digital warfare?
Oh, absolutely. It highlights how devotees, maybe with good intentions initially, end up sort of weaponizing these remarks.
How so?
You see it in comment sections, right? What could be a discussion about philosophy turns into just insults. Shri is jealous, Sadhguru is fake, only follow my guru, that kind of thing.
Yeah, tribalism online, it happens everywhere, but maybe it feels sharper in a spiritual context.
It can, yeah. Complex ideas get boiled down to slogans. It shows how easily division can creep in, even when the core teachings are about unity or inner peace.
It's a good point. The platform itself changes the conversation. But stepping back, these kinds of clashes, they aren't exactly new in spiritual history, are they?
Not at all. The source material brings up some great historical context here. Think about Ramanuja versus Shankara in Indian philosophy.
Right, differing views on the nature of reality, personal God versus absolute non-duality.
Exactly. Or Bhakti versus Advaita traditions more broadly. Or even figures like Osho challenging traditional gurus, or Vivekananda engaging with the Brahmo Samaj.
So history is full of these debates.
And the insight from the source is that these weren't always just wars of hate. Often this friction actually helped clarify the different paths. It sharpened the understanding for seekers.
So maybe this tension, if it's real, isn't purely negative.
Perhaps not. Maybe it's just, as the source puts it, different flavors of truth. Not contradiction, but diversity. Different valid paths for different people.
That reframes it quite a bit.
Yeah.
Moving beyond just a simple rivalry.
It allows for appreciating the richness, yeah.
While we're discussing the differences, it feels really important to also acknowledge what both of these teachers have brought to the table. Their contributions are immense.
Absolutely crucial point. The analysis makes sure to highlight that. Sri Ravi Shankar, for instance, teaches joy, surrender. His breathwork has helped millions manage stress and find emotional balance. Think of the art of living's reach.
Huge impact on peace and community building.
Definitely. And Sadhguru, he focuses on empowerment, inner mastery, the science of energy, offering very practical, sometimes complex tools for depth transformation. His approach often clicks with people looking for like an engineering mindset for their inner world.
So different approaches, different styles, but both serving in massive ways.
Exactly. Both expanding consciousness, offering paths. And, it's interesting. Both teachers have consistently talked about focusing on inner growth over all the outer noise, which leads to a point the source makes. If they can largely remain silent amidst all this online chatter and perceived rivalry, maybe we, as followers or observers, can manage to stay civil too.
That's a challenging thought.
And maybe the silence between them isn't conflict. Maybe it's actually respect, acknowledging each other's space from a distance.
So wrapping this up, we started with those whispers of conflict between Sadhguru and Sri. We looked at the specific comments, the statue, Masamadhi, Dhanalinga.
Yeah, the things that fuel the perception. Then we dug into the deeper possibilities, philosophical differences versus personal issues, and the huge role of social media in amplifying everything.
And the core message that seems to come out of this deep dive.
It's pretty powerful, I think. The source basically says, look, the world's already divided enough. We don't need more spiritual rivalry.
We need maturity from seekers.
Exactly. People who can appreciate diversity within unity. If you connect with either Sadhguru or Sri, the advice is, don't get caught in choosing sides like it's a football match.
Choose the transformation itself.
Choose transformation. Choose truth. Choose to remember that spirituality is way bigger than any one personality, any single path.
So the final thought for you, the listener, to take away and maybe chew on. What does this whole situation, how leaders and followers handle differences, tell you about navigating your own path, especially in a world that seems desperate for more unity, not less? Something to consider as you continue your own deep dive.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more life-changing insights. Drop a comment below. How do you channel your energy? Let's build a community of seekers. Are you struggling with health, money, relationships, or career? Harness the power of authentic Rudraksh, planetary remedies, and Vedic astrology. Limited stock available. Visit kalmantra.com today to restore balance and transform your life. Harness